חלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני העם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
נקבלה You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these commandments I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live by my way. Speak of them when you're home, when you're on your way, when you lie down and get up and go about your day, as a sign on your hand and upon your head, on the side of your doorposts, my commandments may always be read. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. Please remember, observe all these words that I've said, to live and be holy for years straight ahead. For I am your God, out of Egypt I led. Be holy, be righteous, remember the words that I've said. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shekemo Malechuto Leolam Vaed. You shall love Adonai with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your might. Take to heart these instructions I give you this day. Remember and tell all your children to live, oh, to live and remember my ways. generations and generations, and the door of Ador, Ador, Ador. The door of Ador for generations and generations, and the door of Ador, Ador, Ador.
Look around the world, look around your town. Every single age is represented all around. You see them everywhere, every street, avenue or boulevard. Anywhere, any beach, any park or any yard.
The door of Ador for generations and generations, and the door of Ador, Ador, Ador.
Ecclesiastes said one generation goes and another generation arrives. He got it wrong. For years we all live side by side.
Can you lean on those who arrived here before? Can you learn from those you remember being born?
Can you see that we are all together evermore?
The door of Ador for generations and generations, and the door of Ador, Ador, Ador. The door of Ador for generations and generations, and the door of Ador, Ador, the door of Ador for generations and generations, and the door of Ador,
I haven't sang that in a long time, but we're going to start with a nigun because people are still walking in, and I want to make sure everyone's family and friends are here. So welcome to the Adult B'nai Mitzvah 2023, 5783, 5783, yeah. Sing. This is just a nigun, a wordless song, and then we'll sing Hine Matov. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, 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 just like that. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, let me hear your voices. Yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai, yada-dai-dai-dai-dai, 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 you are here. It's real. You can't practice anymore. It is so good to be here together for 2 years. We sat in Zoom boxes in the pandemic, and now we are here healthy, thank God, and ready to say how good it is to be sitting here together. So we sing Hine Ma Tov. Hine Ma Tov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov U'Manayim 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 Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
Good morning, Rabbi Aaron, Cantor Weiss, family, friends, my wonderful classmates who are beyond unbelievable, and the Temple Emanuel community. Welcome to this beautiful sanctuary. 2 years ago, we set out on our journey for this very special day. For me, it was a very personal one. It's been an absolutely amazing, wonderful, heartwarming, and fulfilling adventure. I'm fondly wearing my beautiful talit, so lovingly wrapped around me by my daughter, Melissa. It was 24 years ago on this very bima that I wrapped hers around her for her bat mitzvah at this very beautiful temple. I'm truly feeling the warmth of my heritage. I've met wonderful people in my class. We have learned together, we've loved together, we've laughed together, and we've cried together. We struggled through Vea Hafta, which is now called Oy Vea Hafta, gladly renamed by me. I look forward to every Wednesday night for our Zoom class led by Cantor Weiss with her boundless, and I mean boundless, energy and her loving and so much love for us, guidance. She's brought us here for this very special day. As each of us are called to the Torah, I hope that you'll get as much enjoyment as I have in preparing for this very special moment. Naso is our Torah portion. It means to raise up. This journey has done exactly that for me. In all of your lives, I hope that every day you find something to raise you up. This has been an amazing, heartfelt, and incredible journey. We're so happy to share our day with you. May all of you have love in your life. Shabbat Shalom and welcome.
Shabbat Shalom. And with those beautiful words, underneath your chairs, there are 2 books. There's a Torah commentary, save that, but we're going to start with Matovu on page 74. It's the book, the thinner one, it says Mishkan Tefillah. If you need a book and there's not one there, raise your hand and we'll find someone who will bring them to you.
Oh,
join us. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. The last verse. Va'ani tefilati lecha, Adonai et ratzon, Elohim berov chastecha, aneni be'emet ishecha. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael.
When Cantor Weiss first asked us which prayer spoke to each of us, immediately I thought of Elohai Neshama. The first reason is that I knew the melody from attending services, and I knew that it was written by Debbie Friedman. Growing up in upstate New York, Debbie was actually my song leader for our regional youth group weekends. I just remember what a beautiful voice she had, and that we really learned Judaism through song. Secondly, as we started to learn what the prayers actually meant in class, I was moved by the meaning of Elohai Neshama, which is a prayer thanking God for breathing life into me and restoring my soul every morning. Preceding Elohai Neshama is Asher Yatzar, which reminds us to be grateful that our physical bodies are miracles. But sometimes this prayer also makes me aware that our bodies are not always going to work the way we want. We continue with Asher Yatzar on page 76 and Elohai Neshama on page 78.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokmah, u'baravo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim Ata tabi
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
You got it.
Can't I just, okay.
Do you want me to put it on the thing?
Yeah.
Different heights.
So as Michelle said, we all had an opportunity to share different prayers that resonated with us, and this one prayer really resonated with me as we studied in the last few months, or actually 2 years. It probably resonates with many of us, but I wanted to introduce it today. It's our morning blessing, also known as the daily miracles. It highlights some of the simple miracles and marvels that accompany us every day. Many of us today can relate to the numerous reasons. First, it functions as a reminder to recognize and appreciate the gifts that we frequently take for granted, such as waking up every morning. It instills a sense of gratitude for simply being alive. The prayer expresses gratitude for simple actions like opening our eyes, standing up, stretching, allowing us to walk, and even getting dressed every day. It reminds us to approach each day with a renewed appreciation for life and not to overlook the extraordinary moments. This is important as we frequently neglect and become preoccupied with our work, our families, and just our day-to-day life. My son Paxton, here I go, sorry, is one of the most precious miracles I reflect on daily. He was born 8 weeks prematurely at 3 pounds, 15 ounces, and look at him now. And you'll see him a little bit later because he'll be one carrying the Torah. He's stronger, lifting the Torah for all of us. Okay, now my contacts are going to go out. Sorry. My husband and I are so proud and feel so blessed that we observe our miracle baby. Just being here today, being alive, is another reminder for me. Sharing this special moment, the B'nai Mitzvah, is another miracle I'm reflecting on with all these lovely people who have sat through a lot of crying in the last 2 years for me. As the child of 2 Holocaust survivors, it's truly a privilege to be here today. My parents and their families, like so many others, faced horrible challenges and hardships, but my immediate family was fortunate, and both their families survived. My mother was German-Polish, and my father was Hungarian. They met after the war in Israel and were married actually in Israel and then came to America. Blah, blah, blah. My upbringing was not religious, but it was very traditional. My parents taught us values and all about the good food and the Jewish holidays. I did not have a bat mitzvah as a child for various circumstances and reasons, but that's a whole nother story. However, when Paxton began here at Temple Emanuel in preschool, thank you, Stacy, at the ECC, gotta have that plug, at the age of 3, I imagined having a bat mitzvah. Well, I wasn't able to do it before him as I had hoped, but I'm here 2 years later. He had his bar mitzvah during Zoom. It was very special, and I'm proudly following his footsteps. With that, as we rise this morning for our morning blessing, I'd like to encourage all of you to take a moment and reflect on the miracles that have occurred in your life today. And we continue the morning blessing on page 80. Thank you, Duke.
Let's wait for him. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech bivina, lechavhin ben yom uvein laila.
Who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Who lifts up, I messed up. Who lifts up the fallen? Hold on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim.
Who stretches the earth over the waters?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadek aver.
Strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbi sharumim.
Who clothes the naked? We're on page 82.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layaif koach.
Who gives strength to the weary?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama avir shena me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Who has made me in the image of God?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben horim.
Who has made me to be free?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Israel.
Who has made me a Jew?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Israel bigvura.
Who girds Israel with strength?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Israel betifara.
Who crowns Israel with splendor? Who crowns Israel with splendor? You may be seated. Come in front of the mic here.
Thank you. We're now approaching the Shema, a core part of the service when we will focus on the oneness of our God. Preparing for Shema has three main steps. First, the cantor calls us to prayer with Baruch. Second, we follow Baruch with Yotzer Or, honoring the creation of light. And third, we recall God's love for us in Ahava Rabbah, just before the Shema. After the Shema, we say V'ahavta, affirming our commitment to love God and teach about God's oneness. Yotzer Or is tucked right in there and often goes by quickly with little attention. Why? We need light, but truth be told, I often take for granted things that are essential. My mother's love, my lungs breathing air, my waking up knowing who I am. There's temptation to forget essentials, as long as I already have them. Yotzer Or, though, is a pause for awareness to remind ourselves that our God has created light, has formed light. The Hebrew here extends from past into present. God formed light in the past, but not only then, God is still forming light. Every single day of life since creation has been possible only because every day received light. With gratitude for God continuing to form light, we draw closer to understanding the essence of the Shema. We rise as we continue with Baruch on page 108? 108.
Yeah.
Yotzer Or in the middle of the page. Praised are you, God, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshev oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshev oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Help you?
We continue with Ahava Rabbah, abundant love. Now, loving God is an impossibly huge concept, let alone God loving us. For those blessed with tight-knit, caring families, the closest comparison is the love of a parent and child. For this reason, the traditional text of this prayer contains multiple references to God as a merciful parent. But what about those of us in the modern world who come from broken homes and shattered families? How can we relate to God's love and truly love God ourselves, absent this earthly reference? This is why I so appreciate this prayer, because it defines God's love through the giving of the Torah and the mitzvot, or commandments. This view of divine love casts God as a compassionate teacher, and at the same time it expresses our love for God through our passion for learning and enacting these benevolently bestowed teachings. To me, this explanation of the love between human and divine is a precious roadmap to not only understanding, but also taking full part in what could easily be called, with no disrespect to Whitney Houston, of course, the greatest love of all. We continue with love with Ahava on page 112.
Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Hemla Gedolah, B'terah, Hamalta Aleinu. Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Hemla Gedolah, B'terah, Hamalta Aleinu. Bavur Avotenu ve'imotenu shebatchu vecha v'telamdenu kechayim kein techonenu u'tzlamdenu kein techonenu u'tzlamdenu. Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Hemla Gedolah, B'terah, Hamalta Aleinu. Hamalta Aleinu.
In a moment, we continue with the Shema on page 114. The oldest fixed prayer in Judaism is the Shema, declaring that there is one God and that we are one people. It functions as a sort of declaration of faith for Jews. Traditionally, it is also the prayer we say before we die. Shema is a meditation of sorts, and it tells us to hear or to listen to yourself, to listen to God, and to leave space for both to guide you. It's a reminder when we are rushing through life at breakneck speed to stop and listen, to connect with the greater, more magical world. Shema was the first prayer I recited as a Jewish person about a year ago. I stood there in front of my friends, naked in the mikveh, and professed my belief in one God, one people, and vowed to make space in my life to listen and to hear, to make room for the divine, and to wrestle with God. I fail at that constantly. Some might say consistently. But just like meditation, there's always time to bring our focus back, to return to listening and to hearing.
We're on page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Good morning. The Ve'ahavta prayer is a continuation of the Shema. It is about loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. It also instructs us to pass this love and understanding of God to our children and our next generation. We do this by practicing and passing down our Jewish values, rituals, culture, identities, and customs. This is the teaching of the Ve'ahavta. As a child, I received a Jewish education. Back then, it was not the practice at my Reformed synagogue for a girl to have a bat mitzvah. My husband, John, and I provided the opportunity for our daughters to receive a Jewish education, and both became bat mitzvah. I'm very proud of them. The talit I have on today is the one that Caitlin wore at her bat mitzvah. I became inspired to begin my own learning journey and started taking a variety of classes. 2 years ago, my friend Michelle shared that she was going to start participating in this B'nai Mitzvah class and invited me to join. To my surprise, my teacher was Cantor Lizzie Weiss, a classmate, sorry, I've gotten too familiar here, a classmate of my daughter Caitlin. So I was inspired by and learned from my children and their classmate. Today, my husband and I have passed our commitment of Judaism onto our kids, and this has become a full circle moment for me. Recently, I had the opportunity of viewing the Auschwitz exhibit at the Reagan Library. In one of the videos, a former Sonder commando, a Jew forced to work in the gas chambers, shared that he overheard a victim inside the chamber reciting the Shema prayer. Here was a man facing certain death, but his final act was to say the Shema. Hearing this deeply moved me. It made me realize the extraordinary power and comfort of connecting to God with all your heart, with all your might, and with all your soul, as the Ve'ahavta directs us to do.
Join us for Ve'ahavta on page 116.
Here, why don't you use this one? She can use that.
Okay. Shemata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'choshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam v'shifteha beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha uvkumecha uvshartam leod v'al yadecha ve'hal yulatotafot beineinecha uvtaftam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem le'noshim Elohechem Ahani Adonai Elohem Asher Hoteiti Echem Meretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem
Adonai Elohechem, amen.
In a moment, we will continue with our Song of Freedom, Mika Mocha. Mocha. Sorry.
This is going to be really funny in a second when you hear what she has to say.
I have such clear memories of putting together my son Eric's custom prayer book before his bar mitzvah. I cut and pasted diligently. There were no Google Docs in those days. Not really knowing what I was doing, I came upon Micha Mocha. I will never forget how much I love seeing the words Micha Mocha, even though at the time I only thought of my favorite espresso drink. Although I was brought up Jewish, I grew up in the Valley, and even though I attended Hebrew school, I was almost embarrassed to say I was Jewish. It was just not the cool religion to identify with. A far cry from when my children asked me why we have churches in Beverly Hills. When it came time for my oldest son Eric to have his bar mitzvah, early on we had a meeting with Rabbi Aaron, who was much younger then and had just joined the temple. At the end of the meeting, I told him I felt like a hypocrite because we were not very religious. He said, "Start small. Judaism can be on your own terms." Those words changed my life. I have grown to be very happy and proud that I am Jewish. I am so glad I stand here today as part of, and I might say a very small part, of this year's B'nai Mitzvah class. Temple Emanuel has been there for my family and me in good and bad times and all the times in between. So instead of asking who is like you, God, for splitting the sea, today I wonder who is like you, God, for having me commit and getting me through 2 years of Hebrew training to allow me to be here today. Now I know that the Micha Mocha prayer is our song of freedom and not a hot latte, and that the Israelites sang it as they crossed the Red Sea in amazement. They sang, "Who is like you, God?" We continue Micha Mocha on page 122. Can I sit down? Or no?
Unless you want to sing Micha Mocha in the mic.
No.
Okay.
Yappa ba bim bim bam, yappa ba bim bam, yappa ba bim bim bam, yappa ba bim bam, yappa ba bim bim bam, yappa ba bim bam, yappa ba bim bim bam, yappa ba bim bam. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, micha mocha nedar bako לשמחה, לשמחה, על שפת הים. יחד כולם הודו, והמלכו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדהינו לך, יהודה וישראל. Go עלינו, אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל. We continue with the Amidah on page 124. Adonai, Sephatai Tiftach, Ufi Agin Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sephatai Tiftach, Ufi Agin Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chaste Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula, Livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo, Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata, Rav lehoshia, Morid ha'atal, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim merofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha b'gevurot, umidom elach, Melech mimit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'neman ata l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. We continue with the Kedusha on page 130. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei kakatuv al yad neviecha, v'karazel ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevot, Meloch ol haaretz kevodo, Adir Adireinu, Adonai Adoneinu, Madir Shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai mimekomo, Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu v'Yashmienu rachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Eloheichem, yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yiksion, ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ata Adonai.
Please continue with the remainder of the Amidah through page 142, using the words on the page or the prayers in your heart. When you are finished, you may be seated. Please join us for Oseh Shalom on page 142.
Oseh Shalom Bimramah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
I don't know about you, but I've been verklempt since the moment Sis started speaking at the beginning of this service, because to see 8 people so dedicated to studying Torah and to learning Hebrew and learning more about the prayers in the Siddur, and to come up in front of all of you and show what they've learned, it's inspiring to me to see all of you here. I'm glad it's 8 because it makes it very symmetrical. But you know, as I was thinking about what today's about, you're going to hear a lot about today's Torah portion. But I want you to take a look at the 8 people that are up here, because our theme for this year was for generations and generations. And throughout the year, we've tried to have programs and experiences that aren't just for one singular generation, but the idea that when we live in this world, we live in the world in multi-generations all at the same time. And although Ecclesiastes writes that one generation goes and another comes behind it, the fact is, in our lifetime, we exist with many generations, and those generations are right here up on the bima. And all of you that are out here, this room is filled with all the generations of life. And to me, that's one of the most important things that Judaism brings to us,
that you don't necessarily find in other places. Because we may go other places where there are many generations, but they're not all doing the same thing or interacting with each other or really feeling each other like we have felt everything that's been happening for the last hour. So we're going to hear a lot about naso being this idea of having your head counted, of being noticed. And I think that it's important for us to, as we go through the service today and we bring the Torah around, just to take a look and see who else is in the room and who's sharing this experience with you, who's being counted today. It's all of us that are being counted. So I want to thank the 8 of you for bringing us together and reminding us that, first of all, learning doesn't end once you've had your bar mitzvah. Although these guys kept up with the Hebrew, I've noticed pretty much every prayer. I only found like 4 mispronounced words, so you should be proud, Michelle. But really, it doesn't end with bar or bat mitzvah. It doesn't end when you go off to college. Judaism is something that we do throughout our lives, and it can enhance us, and it can bring us together, and it can teach us until the day we die. So let's go to our Torah service and really do what we were meant to do coming here today, and that is to actually read from the Torah for the first time. So to open the ark, which really involves coming and standing by that lion, and we'll have one person pull the string. If you identify as a spouse of one of these people up here, this is self-identifying, please come up so we can open up the ark. Anyone who is a spouse to any of the people that are up on this bima, that means you, Chuck. Come on up. John, also you. That's right.
We are on page 244 in the prayer book, and you will rise when
the ark opens.
When the ark opens. Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, vein kemasecha, malechutecha malchut kol amim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et damo v'shalom. Av harachamim eitiv avir tzoncha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisha, Adon olamim.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Udvar Adonai mirushalayim. Uh-oh, we got criers.
Typically, this ritual that we do at B'nai Mitzvah is when the Torah is passed down from generation to generation. Again, our theme is for generations and generations. So that's the way we'll pass it today. We'll pass it for generations and generations and generations, and some tears as well as we go through it. Because this may be for the first time in a formal way that some of our B'nai Mitzvah have held the Torah in this way. So what we're going to do now, just as we've done literally for 2,500 years, which is a very long time to keep the tradition of reading a scroll going, and not just reading a scroll, but one might say that this scroll, the Torah, is the thing that has kept the Jewish people alive for these thousands of years. For without it, there would be nothing for us to hold on to. So we're going to pass this now for generations and generations. And this is quite a feat because this is actually a kind of a heavy Torah.
I also have to say that, there were a lot of ways that we could do this. Everybody could have held their own Torah. We have enough. But this class felt that it was very important to share, to touch the same Torah, and to pass it from one another because of their bond.
So now it's been passed from each person taking a moment to take the Torah into their arms. Whenever we reach a moment like this where we've done something for the first time and we hope that we'll be able to do it again, we say, thank God we were born, kept alive on this planet, and have reached this exact moment in our lives. Let's sing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Our parsha this week seems mundane, yet somehow it's important enough for Torah to tell us about every year. Torah Naso starts by listing tasks and counting who's around to do them. It ends by counting 12 days of giving lists and lists of gifts. In between, there's a crown jewel of text. Is there a connection? Counting is a core of Judaism. Minyans and candles and Omer. Oh my! Days till Shabbat, moons till Kol Nidre. But I think Naso has a purpose bigger than collecting data. It has a template for creating peace and stability in a new society. The word Naso means lifting up the head. People lift up their heads to be recognized and counted. Counting someone brings them into existence. Valuing the existence of another is holy. It is a way that we follow God, and it is a means to repair the world. When it opens, Naso counts up 8,580 men to do the needed work of portaging the tabernacle. Interestingly, they counted only the men, ages 50 to 30. Why? Why? Perhaps they are the demographic most likely to create power struggles. Perhaps, as no longer young warriors, they would counter their own fears of being discounted by starting tribal infighting. So, what does God do through Moses? God gives these men clearly defined areas of power and autonomy. This group hauls the dolphin skins to roof the tent of meeting. That group carries the posts, pegs, and planks that make it possible to hoist up that roof. And neither can do without the other. They need each other. It is a very Jewish model of valuing each life, even while being different and doing different things, or maybe even because of differences. When Naso closes, we read 77 verses counting up 12 days of 12 tribes giving identical long lists of gifts. Silver basins, gold spoons filled with incense, bulls and he-goats, and more. Each tribe's gifts were the same and valued the same, despite any differences in designs or appearances. Each day, one tribe got to shine and be honored. And on the other 11 days, each tribe stepped aside and honored the others. By doing things this way, the Israelites built up an internal resilience that could insulate them from disunity, infighting, power grabs, or chaos. This purpose for counting gave inherent value to each person and each tribe. Could this model work with our tribes? Politics, religion, sports, media? What is the opposite of being counted? Discounted? Something else? Indifference is really an opposite of being valued. And uncounting begins when someone thinks it's easier to wipe out awareness of another person's existence. Uncounting is a tragic and painful attempt to avoid relationship work and discomfort by pretending someone does not exist. They, of course, do still exist. We cannot uncount another person without harming our own selves. We read in Leviticus to love the other as ourselves. Emmanuel Levinas writes that it is in the seeing of the other deeply that we love ourselves. And Kabbalah teaches that each of us is made in the image of God, and no one image reflects more or less of the divine than another. Uncounting cuts off parts of one's own soul. We need each other. We learn from each other. If any are uncounted and made invisible, we all are harmed. Even after death, we Jews still count people when we end services with the mourner's Kaddish. Naso means to lift up the head to be counted, and it makes a difference to feel counted. It is here in Naso that the Torah places the priestly benediction. As God lifts up his head to us, we are blessed. Naso has a message for us. Do as God does. Structure interactions so that people can lift up their heads, be counted, and feel equally valued. If we do this, what can happen? What can heal? Today, we, the Temple Emanuel B'nai Mitzvah group of 2023, stand here lifting our heads ready to be counted. And in Judaism, no one person can run a whole service ever. It is built into the very essence of our processes. We do being Jewish by doing it together. You each and we each count to each other, to the community, and to God.
If you'd like to follow along in the reading,
Please find it for me.
it's in the Torah, which is
Hold on, we're going to have to.
Professor Stone is going to find the page for us.
However,
Not
let's
so.
see, Lynn or Scott, someone. We're starting with the Nazarite section. It's not the beginning of the Parsha. It is 6:1, number 6:1. Let's have you find the page.
1058. 1058.
Whose is this stuff? I'm putting this. You said this is yours,
ויעזור ויגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר הכל אבו גודל אלוהינו ותנו לבון ותנו כבוד לתורה יעמוד גרשום עובד בן אברהם ושרה הראשון ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום.
This yod was given by my first adult B'nai Mitzvah class, and I love that it will be continued to be used today.
Aww.
Touch your seat. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor Daber El Bnei Yisrael Ve'amarta Alehem Isho Isha Ki Afli Lindor Neder Nazir Lehazir Ladonai Miyayin V'shechar Yazir Chometz Yayin V'chomet shechar lo yishtei v'chol mishrat anavim. I lost the line. Lo yishtei ve'anavim lachim v'veshim lo yochel kol yemei nizro mikol Asher yaseh migefen hayayin mechartzanim ve'adzag lo yochel kol yamei neder nisro tar ya'avor al rosho ad melot hayamim asher yazir ladonai Kadoshie Gadel Pe Rashi Arosho Kol Yamei Haziro Ladonai Al Nefesh Meit Lo Yavo Le'aviv Ulimo Le'achiv Ulachoto Lo Yitama Lahem Bemotam Ki Nezer Elohav Al Rosho.
Not everybody's chanting 7 verses.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natav v'tokohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach.
And let's give just little yasher koach to everyone. So yasher koach. There we go. We'll get everyone in. Ta'amdu Chava bat Harriet v'Fred v'Avigail bat Sarah v'Avraham.
If you want to stand so you can see sis, you could.
I'm a little short.
Can you give that to Kat? Well, we're going to have to move around anyways. Baruch at first. Baruch up there. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Habarak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Kol imei nizro, kadosh nu ladonai, b'fetei pitom, v'tanei rosh nizro, v'olata rosh, v'hila rasho, v'yom toharato. Ayom Shivei Aim Gainu Om Hashir Minu Iyu Yavi Shate Torim Hoshane Ne Yona Elha Kohei
Petach, Ohel Moed. Wait, Kat's going to come in and do hers. Yeah, not yet. Hold on. Stay right here, Kat. Here, give me the mic. Yeah, go ahead.
Ve'asa hakohen echad lechatat ve'echad le'olah. Agiper alav me asher hatat al hanafesh vekidash et rosho bayom hahu vehizir ladonai et yemei nizro vehevi keves ben shenato leasham vehayomim. Rishonim vipelu hitamei nizro.
Asher, go off.
All right, here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayi olam nata tomidenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
He amdu ahavat bat hila ve'imre ufesa frima bat rochaleya v'Avraham.
It's your time, guys.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lananu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Come on, you guys. Trust.
Stay here. Stay here. Start me. Vasam metzor. So let halot belalut bashemen urkike matzot meshivim bashamen umin hatom veniskehem vehikriv hatohen lif Adonai ve'asa et hatato ve'et dolato.
4. Right there.
V'tahayu yaseh zevak shalamim ladonoi sal hamatzot va'asa hakohen et minchato ve'et nisko. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah. Emet.
V'chaye olam nata betochenu.
Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Oive.
We did it.
Wait, you have to stand over here. Okay. Wait. The blondies of the group.
We're going to take a moment as the Torah is out to do a special blessing for those who are ill. It's on page 253 of the Siddur, if you'd like to sing with and pray with us. So we'll sing the first half of this blessing, and then I'm going to come around and gather names from everybody. So the idea here is that there may be someone on your mind and in your heart today that's in need of healing. So please call out the name out loud so others can hear it. We can all hear it. We can take those names into our hearts and pray on behalf of all the names called. Misha Berach, 253. Please join.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor Havracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Ma Shabbat Ada.
Michael Rose, Libby Kahn, Donna Jackness. Jared Sloan.
body, the renewal of spirit,
And
let us say, Amen. תעמוד להנורא בת שרה ואברהם. You may have noticed that that Duke and Lisa's talit are the same. These were bought in Israel last year. Around this time, we were in Israel last year, and it is the talit of the Woman of the Wall. And we met with them, and they have this beautiful talit, and so two of our B'nai Mitzvah today are wearing and donning that talit. It does not come with a set of reading glasses, so she had to go and get another pair for this moment.
They need the large print Torah.
This is a large print Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Thank you. Everything is falling.
V'gilah HaNazir Petach Ohel Moed et Rosh Nizro V'lakach Etzar Rosh Nizro V'natan al ha'esh asher tachat zevach ha'shalamim V'lakach ha'kohen et hazeroah.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You did. I did.
Can I start back?
Yeah.
V'lakach ha'kohen et hazeroah b'shalah min ha'ayil v'chalat matzah echat min hasal urkik matzah echad v'natan al kapeh hanazir echar hitgalahu et nizro v'heniv otam hakohen tenufa lifnei Adonai kodesh hu lakohen al hazeh hatenufa ve'al shokateruma ve'har ishtei hanazir yain.
Bravo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
My eye skipped a line. You did perfectly. All right, you guys can sit down. Yes, you can hug and kiss if you want. All right.
Ta'amdu Gershona Ora bat Barbara Paul Miriam Rachel bat Rivka V'Chaim.
Guys, this is the moment. This is.
First take your corner of your tongue. Give a little touch on it.
Wait, microphone. Gotta get this on. One, two, three.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Zot Torah HaNazir Asher Yidor Korbano Ladonai Al Nizro Milvad Asher Tasig Yado Kefi Nizro Asher Yidor Cain Yaaseh Al Torat Nizro Vidaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor Daber El Aharon Ve'el Bar Banav Lemor Ko Tivarhu et B'nai Yisrael Amor Lahem.
Yivorechacha Adonai Veishmerecha Yaher Adonai Panav Elecha Vichunecha Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha Vesim Lecha Shalom Visamu et Shemi Al b'nei Yisrael Vani Archem Baruch atah Elohim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torat emet Ve'haye olam natan bechutenu Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
I just want to point out that there is some candy underneath your chairs. We're not throwing it yet. I'm just telling you because I see you guys winding up.
First of all, please put it back under your seats.
It's going to be a little while after we do the blessing.
He shouldn't have said anything.
Well, I heard crinkles from Candy over here. Yeah, Amdu Amagbi Avagolelim. To lift and to dress the Torah, to lift it, I'd like to invite Paxton Clark, who's been working out for months, I understand, to be able to do this honor. And anyone who identifies as part of the family of Sis Klein. Because you guys, you've come here from long distance.
Paxton?
So please come up
Paxton?
to help dress the Torah. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and then lift up. That was so easy. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai. Keep going. V'yad Moshe al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim. Here. Ha'olam, ha'olam, omed. Come on, help over here. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim. Ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim. Al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam, ha'olam omed. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim. Al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam, ha'olam omed.
You may be seated.
So we're going to do a little sketch comedy for you guys. Duke, when you converted, were your friends concerned that you'd be brainwashed by religion?
Oh, girl, let me tell you, they were all shocked that I was reading the Bible.
Girl, I got to be honest, I was shocked I was reading the Bible. I think some of my cool, progressive atheist friends thought I would start being religious and living according to some ancient edict, because some of the stuff in the Torah is kind of,
Problematic?
yeah, kind of. You know, like the Sota ritual from this week's Torah portion.
Oh, yes, where a paranoid husband brings his wife to the priest to drink a magic potion of dirt and water that will prove whether she committed adultery. And if she has, her belly will swell and her thighs will fall.
Yeah, it's not weird and upsetting when you say it like that.
Well, maybe we can find an angle on it.
Okay, yeah, like ancient patriarchy, but make it feminism. Let's look at it. So there's an argument to be made that the ritual has as much to do with placating jealous husbands, literally a husband who suffers from a spirit of jealousy, so that there could be peace in the community, as it does with policing women's sexuality. Certainly, women's sexuality was and always has been policed, but this ritual was designed to restore the harmony between the couple. If the woman doesn't succumb to this dirt water, then there is a reconciliation. Today, we don't need rituals like this to rebuild trust between married couples, because couples therapy serves this purpose. This shalom bayit, the peace of the home.
And you know, the ritual may never have happened. The Torah never mentions it actually happening, and rabbinic literature has only one ambiguous example of its, of course, disputed implementation in Mishnah Eduyot 5:6. And Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai's reason for abolishing it in the Second Temple period was that too many couples were cheating on each other. So Mishnah Sota 9:9 says, from the time when adulterers proliferated, the performance of the ritual of the bitter waters was nullified. They would not administer the bitter waters to the soda, and it was Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai who nullified it. The Mishnah explains that based on Rabbi Yohanan's reading of Hosea 4:14, when the husbands are adulterers, the wives are not punished for their own adultery.
It was relatively quickly done away with, and the reason is surprising. It's because everyone was cheating on everyone, And we can't just spend all day having women drink dirty water. It's unsustainable. So the solution was to do away with the ritual and treat society's ills as a whole.
And this is just one more example of how Judaism can be shaped by the society it is existing in and can tend to people where they are.
Yeah, it's not an archaic belief system that has no relationship to modern problems. It's the melding of ancient beliefs with new knowledge and scholarship.
Oh, I could talk about this all day.
Okay, yeah, but it's like, I think it's like 1:30 by now, so I think we should.
Come back next week for more of Cat and Duke.
Now we have reached the point where we return the Torah to the Ark. I would like to ask anyone who identifies as a child of one of the B'nai Mitzvah that are up here, if you are a child, there's others. Yes, please come up to open the Ark for us. Child. You can be a child and have children too. I just want to point that out to you. No, you can't.
No. What? Rabbi Aaron. So did I turn myself off? In the prayer book, we are on page 256, I believe. Yes, 256. We'll rise when Rabbi Aaron tells us to.
Please rise.
Ki lekach tov natati lahem Torati al tazovu Eitz chaim hi l'machazikim ba v'tom hecha meushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva
Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu.
Tekedem.
You may be seated.
You definitely don't want to hold it. Tess.
I have always loved the beauty and simplicity of this priestly blessing. It is something I find very comforting. I was surprised and moved that it was contained within our Torah portion. This discovery was a divine moment for me. It made me feel very connected to becoming a B'nai Mitzvah. When my sister Lynn died, saying the mourner's Kaddish, which praises God for giving us life, didn't completely resonate with me. Even though the Kaddish is our ritual of remembrance, I decided to recite the priestly blessing to honor and remember my sister. It is what I want for her and anyone else that I care about, to feel God's countenance, to feel God's blessing, and most of all, peace. The priestly blessing helped me heal from the grief and loss of my sister. It made me feel an increased sense of wholeness. This is the blessing I say when remembering all of those I love. Through my studies, I learned that the priestly blessing is something we can bestow upon one another. Our B'nai Mitzvah group with Cantor Weiss, my mentor Lori, and our 2-year study journey together have been a blessing in my life. It has brought me joy, laughter, aha moments, and sometimes feelings of frustration. Through it all, we have been there for each other and to bring each other along and celebrate our accomplishments. My family, friends, and classmates. Your love and support have helped me realize my dream of becoming a B'nai Mitzvah, a Bat Mitzvah, and I am deeply grateful. For me, the priestly blessing will always be a reminder that we can create opportunities for blessing in many different ways, even with a small act of kindness and friendship.
I love that, in many ways it was such a divine coincidence that we chose June 3rd for your adult B'nai Mitzvah, and that miraculously it was Parashat Naso that had the priestly benediction. But I think deep down, I knew what the Torah portion was about, and I had gotten to know all of you so deeply, and I knew how much this Torah portion would resonate with you. It would resonate with Duke and Kat, who are nerdy, and they love to tell us that they're nerdy. It would resonate with Lisa, who very early on had a conversation about what does it mean, do I deserve to be counted? And that stuck with me. That was very early on. Of course, I think all of us have loved and felt the spirit of Sis, who has been through so much over the last 2 years. All of us are just so relieved and so grateful to see you sitting here today in person with us. We really are, Sis. You were the glue spiritually that held us all together, and we knew that if Sis could be on every Wednesday night, early, sometimes at 1 p.m. I'd get a Sis is on your Zoom. And I look at Paula and Michelle and Gail, who, I have known the Blocks and the Redstons my entire life, and the Milans. And Michelle, you were the glue that brought them here and kept saying, Paula, you can do it. Gail, you can do it. And Gail, too, who went through, we confided in each other with 2 years of vocal issues and post-COVID issues. And Andrea, I did Paxton's bar mitzvah during the pandemic and who has been through so much. And we kept just saying, you are a part of this group. Your spirit is here. And I couldn't be more grateful for the love and support that you gave of me, which allowed me to just give my whole heart to all of you. So Rabbi Aaron and I are now going to continue and officially bestow the priestly benediction on all of you up in front of the arks, in front of the Torahs, I should say. And I will never forget this class. Oh, not to be too silly, but next year you can join this very group. No, not Adult B'nai Mitzvah. We'll talk about that later. But this group, which has become a chavara on its own, it's either going to be called Torah and Tequila, we're voting, or, Mom, you can cover your ears, Jews for cheeses. You can vote. Whichever one you'll show up to, we'll call it. With that, we bestow this blessing to you.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine on you, and may God be good to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom.
May God's presence be with you in your lives, and may you feel what you feel today, a sense of wholeness, certainly a sense of completeness, that sense of peace. And we say,
Amen.
Amen. And now as we sing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, you may take the candy and in a parabola may throw it up onto the bima
under your chairs.
right now.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman. Get in there. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov.
A big Mazel Tov! All right, now,
Wait, Rabbi Aaron.
if you're under the age of
Yes.
120, please come and get the candy. We need to clean it up. Okay,
We are almost done, and so far this B'nai Mitzvah has been shorter than my B'nai Mitzvah or Adina Aaron's Bat Mitzvah. We did well. Okay.
first of all, we wanted to show you that not only did they accomplish today and do their readings, but they also are going to receive these B'nai Mitzvah certificates.
Are they gonna
You can
hold them
ooh
for
and
a
ah,
picture?
ooh, ah. And these are literally Temple Emanuel. We have our own custom-made B'nai Mitzvah certificates. So anyone, only if you're at this synagogue do you receive this particular artwork.
Inspired by our sanctuary.
Yep. So what a wonderful moment. Let's go to page 282.
Wait, we're going to have to get one little picture so they can put them down. Well, I guess we could do it after. She said my kids didn't get.
Stand up. We went standing. We should stand for a second.
Okay, let's go to page 282 for Aleinu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרמים, הוא אלוהינו עדות, ואנחנו קוראים,
for a moment? We now turn to page 294 in the Siddur for Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. This morning, we especially remember the following family and friends of our B'nai Mitzvah: Inga Kuhn, Peter Kuhn, and Rachel Trauber, Fred Gewerter and Harriet Gewerter, Felissa Gadon, Oris Johnson, Roberta Bishop Johnson, Lenore Bogolub Meltzer, and Arthur Meltzer, Shirley Block, Al Schwartz, Ruth Birnbaum Schwartz, Rita Rubenstein, Sam Birnbaum, Bernard Block, Paul Miller, Lynn Miller, Eli and Nadia Miller, Anna Miller, Chuck and Claire Kleinenberg, Nat Tolmach, Richard Stern, Walter Fox, Frank Abramoff, Doris Milan and Mike Milan, and Odette Gottheim and Ernest Gottheim. I'd like to ask if there was anyone here in the midst of Shloshim, the first 30 days after the death of a loved one, if you'd please stand and tell us who you're here to say Kaddish for. Is there anyone commemorating a yahrzeit in this Shabbat that would like to stand and mention a name? And is there anyone in the first year after the death of a loved one? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Paul.
I'm good.
First year after the death of a loved one that would like to stand and say that name for us. Thank you. Let us rise together. We think about those names that were just mentioned. We think about those that have no one to say Kaddish for them. Think about those lost in the Holocaust, those that have died from COVID-19 in the last 3 years. And we think of those that are in the midst of the violence that occurs in our world every single day. We say Kaddish Yatom together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Ul'olmei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei D'Kudusha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace between each and every one of us on this planet. And we say, Amen. You may be seated.
Shabbat Shalom.
You have heard a lot of our Torah portion, but as we begin the conclusion of our service, we want to highlight one part that is truly interesting. Part of this week's Torah portion talks about taking the Nazirite vow. The Nazirite vow is a special vow taken by either a man or a woman to dedicate him or herself to God. One might take this vow when they want to separate themselves after a big event in their life. It is a period of holiness.
There are 3 main requirements for one who takes the vow. Number 1, to not drink wine or eat any fruit from the vine. Number 2, to not cut their hair to not cut their hair. And number 3, to not touch a dead person. When we committed to becoming a bat mitzvah, we technically made a vow to ourselves and our fellow Zoom mates to be here today. At the time, it seemed like a long way off, but today came quicker than we could have ever imagined.
and without each other's support, we could have never been here this Shabbat morning.
It is truly an honor to have you all here celebrating this momentous occasion with us as we become B'nai Mitzvah at this time in our lives. It is especially meaningful to me to be bat mitzvahed in the same synagogue that my wonderful husband Scott read from the Torah 52 years ago, and to have both his parents here as well, which is amazing. We also share this experience jointly with our 6 amazing children who had their bar and bat mitzvahs here with Rabbi Aaron. And Paula's husband, Michael Block's parents, were married here at Temple Emanuel in 1949. We want to thank you all for coming to Temple today and sharing in our B'nai Mitzvah.
Should I read this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I think I screwed up.
We want to also thank Rabbi Aaron, Temple staff, and especially Cantor Weiss for her incredible patience. And I could repeat that about 80 times. Her patience, enthusiasm, and dedication to our venture. We definitely couldn't have done it without her. She is an amazing person. We have both known her since her only claim to fame was one of 3, which was a big deal in those days. And wow, did she grow up to be special. We and the class can never thank her enough. She has never stopped encouraging us here today, to get us here today, sorry.
We would also like to thank our most knowledgeable classmate, Duke. At first, he seemed like one of us, but he quickly excelled to be our main tutor. His patience, dedication, and teaching skills, and stand-up, I might add, rescued us many a time.
And lastly, we want to thank our fellow classmates for taking this journey with us. When we began this venture, we had no idea what to expect. What does that say? We had no idea to expect, and our
class. And our classmates.
And our we and our classmates had no idea what to expect. And because our classmates were just a box on the Zoom. As we have progressed, we have become very close and supported each other in more than learning Hebrew.
Mazel tov to all of us, and thank you.
I also want to thank this class for the beautiful flowers, for the luncheon that's to follow that you all are invited to, and all of the individual floral arrangements. Thank you, Michael, too, and thank you to everyone. When they could have been rehearsing yesterday, they were doing flower arrangements. Hidor Mitzvah, the beautification of this wonderful day.
As we sing to close, why don't we stand up, put your arm around the person next to you if you're comfortable with that, and if you know them. If you don't know them, introduce yourself, then put your arm around them. And let's sing about Shabbat.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash. That means we get to rest later. Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
Baruch atem b'vorachem, baruch atem b'tzeitchem. You were blessed as you came in here this morning. And we hope that you will also be blessed as you experienced all of this with us today. We've got challah, we've got wine. May you all be blessed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Oh, I don't know what that is.